The evolution of human cultures is associated with the evolution of the ability for verbal language in humans. Language is defined by a vocabulary that is by a power of appointment, and by a grammar by rules governing the nature and relationships of words. Language has two main functions: expressions and communication. We will see here for the difference between Swedish and French through some examples.
Petri, I have a question. Mr. Carlos. What?
How to address someone are very differently depending on the culture. Some cultures find it important to express themselves more formal, and for other cultures that would be interpreted as old-fashioned. This is called self-other reference, which means what we call ourselves and others. Depending on how the culture are with the relationship between people, we address each other differently.
So, what is 1 plus 1?
11.
Mais elle est marteau, non?
Mais elle est folle, elle est complètement marteau.
What did you say?
I said that she's such a hammer.
A hammer?
Yes?
Well, I don't understand.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
The French expression être marteau or rendre quelqu'un marteau, translated in English word for word by to be hammer or drive someone hammer, means that we have such it on the head of someone that this person become made and this thought are from now on an age or cracked. This French expression loses all this sense as many other expressions when we translate them in another language, because proverbs and expressions emerge from a specific culture in which images we could see all days gave some derivatives as sentences used for years.
Very nice.
Very nice, yes.
Oh, here comes the French.
Oi! Oh, no, the 5-second rule! It's okay. 5-second rule. I don't know, what is it?
Jokes can differ very much between cultures. The typical joke about something in one culture can be weird and offending in another culture. Just because one knows about a joke does not mean that everyone knows about it. This can easily lead to a misunderstanding. It can be hard for a person of another culture to code the message of the joke. Jokes contains a lot of informal norms and values, which can be hard for a person to understand from the outside.
Intracultural communication is communication between people that belongs in the same culture. This type of communication does not often lead to misunderstandings because people sharing the same culture has the same rules of how to encode and decode messages. To clarify, two people from the same culture can understand each other easily because they use the same cultural code when communicating. Therefore, they only have to focus on the content of the message when communicating with each other.
Intercultural communication is communication between people of different cultural background. Communication does not always have the same basic rules in different cultures, and communication can therefore easily be misunderstood because we humans cannot encode and decode messages exchanged between each other.
Sapir-Whorf hypothesis suggests that speakers of different language think differently, and that they do so because of the differences in their language. Because different cultures typically have different language, the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis is especially important for understanding cultural differences and similarities in thought and behavior as a function of language.
Our conclusion and thoughts. We have learned that just because we translate our language to, in this case, English, we do not necessarily speak the same anyway. We learned that you cannot just assume one thing without asking. There is a lot of differences in culture and language, and it is important to know that to understand each other better.